Are you stuck trying to come up with great, captivating chords for your music? Well, in today's video, I'll show you how you can borrow a chord progression from another song and use it to create one of your own. And before you say, hey, wait, isn't that stealing? Isn't that against the law? Isn't that copyright infringement? No, you can just watch the Axis of Awesome video to realize that this is not the case. Yes, you shouldn't steal. Now, using the same chord progression is not against copyright because there are only so many chord progressions in the world. And look at every single pop song, they all use basically the exact same chord progression. So no, this is absolutely fine to get along with. Now, in order to do this, I'm going to show you my track Facula, which is going to be, depending when you watch it, either released tomorrow or out now already. Now, let's play a game. Can you work out which chord progression this track was inspired from? And I can give you some hints as we go on. Drop in the comments if you guess it. But it's a legendary song from a very, very well-known artist. Check it out. Sound familiar yet? I can give you some hints. It's a metal band. You know I love metal, right? It's probably one of the only famous German-speaking metal bands. And it's one of their most famous songs. That should be a dead giveaway. Any ideas? So yes, if you guessed Rammstein, you are absolutely correct. It's literally their most famous song on Spotify. And the chord progression from the chorus is super interesting. Now, I'm not going to play it because I'll probably get flagged for copyright, but the chorus chord progression here is really interesting. And I was listening to Rammstein, as you do, and was just thinking, like, this is a sick chord progression. We should make a song using this same chord progression, right? And it's pretty straightforward. So I sent this idea to Tim, because this is a collaboration between myself and TJ Lawton, and said, hey, dude, we should use this chord progression. It's awesome. What do you think? He was like, yeah. Now, I can work it out by ear because I have perfect pitch, but like if you don't have perfect pitch, which it's totally normal, it is quite rare. What you can do is, if you go to like Google and you just type in Rammstein, Sonne, chords, pretty straightforward. Like ultimate guitar ones are usually the best because it is like a band-based thing. So, and I can also read tabs. Literally tells you the chords here over the chorus: B minor, E, D, C, B minor, E sus 4, D sus 4, C, E, D over F sharp, G, F sharp, B, E, G, D over F sharp. It literally tells you the chord progression right there, and you just put those chords into your track, which is essentially what we did. You know, you can infer the key, so the track is in B minor. It's like a B Phrygian feel, so you can see the chord progression here. If I just load up the bass, you'll see the root notes. We actually pitched it down a semitone, but this is the same chord progression. So you see here, A sharp, and it should be B flat, I should say. But yeah, it's in B flat Phrygian, but it's the same chord progression. So just pitch it up. So B flat becomes B, D sharp, E flat becomes E, then you have C sharp becomes D. It's the same chord progression, right? And that's what we started with, right? Got some passing notes. That same chord progression, right? And obviously it's in a completely different context. You're never going to think when you listen to this, oh my god, this is Sonne by Rammstein, right? You're going to think this is a cool track with an interesting chord progression. And I have literally played this to people that I know for sure know the song because I've listened to the song Sonne with them. I've seen it live with these people as well, and they have literally no idea. Even when I say, hey, this is a song you definitely know, do you know what it is? They have no idea. So the art of doing this really is doing it so that, you know, you take an interesting idea. Those like top performing musicians have this concept, like steal like an artist. Like you can take something that has worked before and then make it your own. Now, I'm not saying just recreate the song Sonne by Rammstein or steal a chord progression and recreate the entire song and say it's your own, because that's not cool and that is copyright. But using something that you think is awesome as a starting point and editing it in an interesting way so that it can be something new is absolutely fine, particularly when you're not feeling super inspired. Now, I don't do this all the time. I will do it like sometimes I'll be like, wow, that's a sick chord progression, I want to use that. But often I will create my own chord progressions as well. But this is a really cool way that you can come up with something. If you're feeling really if you're really stuck, you can just listen to some cool tunes and be like, okay, I like the chord progression from this. recreate it and use different sounds, put it in a different context, and it's going to be a new track. Now, in the context of this track as well, there's a lot of cool stuff we did during the intro of the track. So this is the radio version, but we only give you the first half of the chord progression in the first half of the song. So you only get the first part here. This is actually a 16-bar chord progression, as you can see here, but you only get the first part during the first part of the song. Then during the break, we introduce the chord progression with these epic vocal textures. Like, check this out, this part's awesome. The vocals are like inferring the chord progression here while the bass is coming in. You can hear it slowly coming in here, being filtered in. And it's just following the chord progression. So this was a little bit of a faff to do, having to pitch these vocals up to follow the chord progression. See, that one's up. Same sample though. Right? Then like the lead comes in as well. So like, we build up to this point, so you are only actually hearing this second half of the chord progression here for the first time. So you're like, oh, this is different. So the track continues to build and evolve, which is a really important thing in arrangements, is to like think, how can you make the most out of the elements that you have? And giving away the chord progression is something that you can give away in arrangement, right? But you can also not give away the full chord progression. You can have some of it and then save the full chord progression for later. So that's exactly what we did. We gave away, in the extended mix actually, it starts off, the first drop starts off what's called monotonic. So you just have like it playing on the root note without changing. So here, so like a really sort of intense, sort of melodic techno-y vibe here. This is only in the extended mix, which isn't on Spotify, it's only on download stores. And then this is where the radio version kicks in here, which is where we introduce the first half of the chord progression. Right? So you already know that part. And then the first time we introduce the second part of the chord progression during this break. So it sounds normal here, right? Like, oh yeah, we've heard this chord progression before, but then you get here the second part of the 8-bar chord progression here, the first time you hear it. And then during this like build up here, this is a really cool technique you can do as well. So we have this build up to the break with a fake drop, and then it goes back into monotonic, so back into not changing chords, just on the root notes. Check it out. I'm gonna make this drop hit really hard, especially after the breakdown, but I'll just play it from here. Expecting the drop here. So you have that little moment of inflection, then we go straight back into monotonic, stripped back melody. Right? Really tense and epic. Then the chord progression comes in here, as we know before. And then you're like, oh, okay, well, this is just what we've heard before, right? And then the full chord progression comes in here, that we've never heard before with the lead. So yeah, quite an interesting way that we've got a lot of mileage out of a chord progression that was, of course, inspired from another track. But another little cool thing that we did here as well is, just as this little drop happens, we actually skip the kick on the downbeat and have one on the offbeat here. So listen very carefully here. So rather than do, it goes do, misses that downbeat, which is a cool little arrangement technique. Just those little subtle things you can do to make things interesting. And of course, like, you actually don't have any drums playing in this section here, and then they come in on the second beat of the bar. So it's like, and then the rest of the drums come in. Check it out. On the snare. Pretty cool, eh? So lots of fun stuff there to dive into. That's essentially what I wanted to show you with the track, like the chord progression and how you can take an interesting chord progression from a track and turn it into something completely new. Now, the track is out on all digital platforms and stores on Friday. So if you're watching this today, when it's released, go pre-save it. Otherwise, go listen to it on Spotify tomorrow, so you can get the full journey of the track and hear it in context. This track was inspired from a Rammstein song. What you gonna do about it? Now, I've done this technique a number of times, and as I've said, like, the key to this is making sure that you go far enough away from it that it's not obviously a Rammstein song. So now, obviously, you know it's a Rammstein song because you've watched it, but nobody has ever guessed this, right? I've done this with other tracks as well. I took the chord progression and as the starting point, and nobody has ever noticed, even though I know that people will know the track that I started from, for sure. So the key to doing this is making sure that you do make it your own, but it's a way you can quickly get some chords together. There's a lot of stuff that we could cover with music theory, which is going to be outside the scope of this video for sure, but we have a music theory course in our academy, which is totally free to join on School. You do have to unlock it, but there's loads of other courses as well on mixing, kick and bass, and arrangement as well. If you want to grab those, go join. It's totally free. We also do have a program called the Professional House and Techno Producer, where we literally hold your hand in producing pro-level music from scratch and show you the exact process and dive into your projects, review your mix stems and tell you exactly what you're doing right, exactly what you're not doing right, and basically drag you kicking and screaming until you're able to produce pro-level music again and again and again, plus show you how to sign to the top labels. So if you want to learn more about that, go watch this video right here, which explains that in full detail. It's also in the description if you want to learn more, and if you want to chat with me directly, you can from that video. But otherwise, hope you found this video useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment below if there's something you want me to cover in a future video, and I read all the comments and respond to all of them, so I do listen to what people say. So go check out that video if you want to take your music to the next level and see exactly how we work with our clients. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.